Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here and welcome back to another Monster Hunter video and more Monster Hunter stories. So to those of you guys that are waiting for the Monster Hunter Generations Weapon Workshop, that will drop next week, the Light Bowgun one. I'm actually away this week so I didn't have time to complete the workshop, so apologies for that, but that'll be back next week. But I figured we'd take a look at stories because you guys might remember a few days ago I uploaded some character creation. Some of you guys said you were really looking forward to this game and really wanted to sort of see more of it, and some of you guys maybe hadn't even seen it before, so I figured we'd actually take a look at the actual gameplay because tacked on the end of the character creation was a little bit of open world exploration as well as some combat, so I figured it would kind of give you guys a look into how the game actually works, because stories, despite the fact that it's a Monster Hunter game, plays completely differently to the kind of conventional main series Monster Hunter games. Stories is a turn-based RPG, whereas of course the main series titles are, you know, action-based real-time hunting games. So completely different in that respect. And also in this game, as you can see here, you can actually ride on monsters because this is much more of like a friendly game. It's actually based around riders and not hunters. Despite the fact that you do have a weapon, you are actually known as a rider, and friendly monsters are actually known as Ottomon, because basically located around the world you'll actually find eggs, and if you collect those eggs you can then hatch them and they turn into different monsters. So you can ride things like Arekkz, Nagakuga, Lagombi, Kongalala. There are of course more monsters as well. The whole list hasn't been confirmed just yet because the game doesn't come out till later on this year, but the point is they are friendly monsters and the friendly monsters are known as Ottomon. But when you actually go into combat, it is a turn-based RPG and you actually fight alongside your Ottomon. So the rider is, while you will still fight as your rider, your main damage dealer will always be your, I'm going to call them a monster for the time being because Ottomon just doesn't have the same ring to it, but basically the monster that fights alongside you, they will be your primary damage dealer, but you as a rider can still attack, but you can also use items and different things like that. So if you look at the bottom screen, you can actually see options for setting attacks for your monster, setting attacks for your rider, setting attacks for both of you together. So once the bond builds between you and your monster, you can actually jump on the back of it and you can actually ride it and you can do some joint attacks together. But you can also, of course, as you can see here, attack separately. Now, the actual combat system works around this very kind of simple rock, paper, scissors style format. It's actually kind of power, speed, and technique. So different kind of like attacks will, of course, overpower other attacks. And of course, you can kind of decide, depending on what you're fighting, what you need to use. And you can see that on the bottom screen. But as you can see here, this is like a joint attack between the monsters. And as I say, that kind of hinges on the bond between you. So you can see right in the center, that big circle is actually called a Kizuna Stone. That kind of represents the bond between you and the monster. And once it actually charges, you can actually do some special attacks where you'll actually jump on the back of your monster and do some like really, really cool moves.
でいきましょうか。本来この絆ゲージが溜まったらこうライドして絆技っていうのを使えるんですけど、今回すぐ溜まるように作ってきてますので、絆技をすぐお見せできるようになってます。なのでウルクスの絆技っていうのをお見せしましょう。面白いので。
And now that Kurupeko is in a down state, you can see that the Kizuna Stone at the center has like a level 2 charge in it, and this is basically now your opening to kind of do a really, really crazy attack.
2人で一緒に、おい、こんな感じでしたっけ？
そうですよ。あれ、
いやいやもう。
おっしゃ。ローリング。
すごい。
落とし物ゲットしたもん。
すごいダメージ入った。
雪山出ちゃいますからね。
まあ気にしないでくださいね。なんで雪山になってるのかとかはね。
おせおせですね。
すごいな。
でこれね、バトルのところはですね、ちょっと。
But it doesn't end there. See, if you look at the bottom of your screen, you also have the option to use items, but you can also change between your different Ottomans. So kind of like Pokemon again, you can carry or you can have 6 different Ottomon with you. So you can see some of the different options available here. And right at the bottom, they're actually going to switch to Nagakuga, which is probably one of the coolest ones I've seen so far. I really want to see some more gameplay for Arekkz because, of course, he's one of my favorite monsters. But Naga does have, you'll see it shortly, a really, really cool special move. Now, it's also worth mentioning that when I said before the rider is not your primary damage dealer, that's because riders can also use items. So if, say, for example, you need to buff the damage on your monster or your Ottomon, or if you need to heal yourself or heal your Ottomon, then you can, of course, use items, you know, during phases. But, of course, as a monster, they can't actually go and use items. So that's kind of like why you're there. You're there more as a rider to support your monster or support your Ottomon than to actually attack specifically. And of course, you do also have the option in the menu to, again, jump on and off your monster. But that does, as mentioned, hinge on the bond. For example, if you've just gone into battle or you've kind of like just freshly got a monster, then your bond might not necessarily be too strong. And of course, it might not necessarily let you ride it to start with. But as the game progresses, that'll of course open up to you. Now, for the most part, there's not really much else I need to kind of like talk to you guys about. It is pretty self-explanatory. Of course, there is commentary over the top of it, Japanese commentary from the actual stage demo, so you guys will have to listen to that. But of course, if I jump back to that, you'll also get to hear some of the in-game kind of audio as well. So I will leave you with the rest of the gameplay. Once more stuff does surface, I'll of course start breaking more things down for you guys, because this is definitely something I'm going to be covering on the channel over the coming months and of course into the launch of the game. And once it does come out, as I said before, I don't really think it's kind of the game that would necessarily warrant tutorials just like I have done in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate or Generations. It's probably one of those things that I'll just play through on stream and in video for you guys, so that way you can enjoy the game in case you're not importing. But either way, that's it for the time being. That was a super quick look at some of the gameplay, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of it, especially some of these really cool moves. And thanks for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.
さすがなるが
赤い
俊敏。
紐が
おお
素早い、素晴ら
あーなんか決まったのこれで。
かっこいい。
しい。かっこいい。こういうラッキーましたね。強い、強い。
強い。
はい。
まあこういうねあれお供ならではの絆技っていろいろねありますからね。
はい。
はい。
まあこういったのがいろんなモンスターごとに全てありますので、
はい
全部見ていってもらうだけでも結構楽しいんじゃないかなと思います。はい。
じゃあこのもうそのままナルガに乗って次のとこに行っちゃいますか。
これはね、
多分
はい、またウルクスですね。
あウルクに交換します。
はいじゃあウルクススのさっきのはい乗った状態で素早くいきましょう。
戻ってきた。
はい。
どこに行くんですよね。
フルフルいや使いたくない。よし。
おお早い早い早い。
ちょっと
あっちになんかや。
ちょっと強そうなやつもいるんで、
は
はいいこれはちょっと避けとき
はい
ます。
避けたいですね。はい。まあちょっとどんどん進んで。でもこういった広いフィールドをどんどん移動していくっていうのも RPG の醍醐味かなと思ってます。はい。あ、先に見えてきましたね。
何があるんだろう。なんか
はい
豪華な門構えというか。
はい。
あなんか大きいとこ。